Into the black hole of wearing way too many hats. You know, let's talk about the number one role that you guys need, you all need, and if you got them, we got to utilize them as best as possible. Hey, it's Andrew Houston here from Profit for Contractors with trading tips in the truck. And yeah, I'm sweating a little bit here. Just finished coming from the gym, so it's not like I have the Ebola or anything of that nature. But anyways, I wanted to share this with you, especially this time of the year. It's usually the busiest time of the year. You know, I've mentioned this several times. It's a theme that's going to go on for a while. So, you know, too many times we're wearing way too many hats and we complicate things. We're thinking, you know, we need more guys, like more crews out there. You know, we need more helpers. We need more PMs, more foremans. We need all these people. But in a lot of cases, the reality is that the number one role that you need, the number one role that you need to utilize, and if you don't have this person in your company, you don't have this person sitting in one of these seats, is your administrator, your office person, okay? So we had a recent post from one of our top clients, Alex, brother, great post on, like, you know, asking around, you know, what's the value of getting an admin person? You know, have you ever hired somebody to be an admin person? And we've gotten some amazing feedback inside our Champion CEO group. But I wanted to share some insights with you guys. Look, one of the things that I know I sucked at, okay? And to be honest with you, I hated, I still don't like, and I'm not putting down the value of it, we as entrepreneurs are typically not that good at doing let's call it the office aspects of the business. I mean, filing paperwork, invoicing, you know, following up with clients, giving customer care, because we're just, to be straight up with you, we're scattered, man. It's part of our genius, to be honest with you. I mean, we put ourselves down a lot because we're scattered, but that's part of our genius, is that we're creative. Most entrepreneurs are creative. We've got some form of ADD or ADHD or whatever, you know, the squirrel effect. And an admin person is going to help you out tremendously in keeping you focused, right? They're sort of like I guess you call the ground control the Major Tom. You know, if you're looking at getting in a plane and you're going to go on a trip, you know, you got ground control, right? They're the ones that make sure everything is done in the right order. You know, that all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, all that paperwork that you don't like filing that's needed to be filed, tracking expenses, you know, analyzing the data, gathering the data from the guys out in the field, the right paperwork, making sure, you know, the guys are filling in the right paperwork, to make sure that we can analyze information, back costing, job costing, by the way, they're different. You know, making sure that, you know, quotes are being done, making sure, you know, the meetings are happening. I mean, man, I can go on and on and on. One of my key people, Stephanie, is absolutely amazing. I would literally not be able to have this business. I don't think I'd be able to have this business, or if I had this business without Steph or without somebody in that position, I can tell you, it'd be absolute chaos. It would totally limit my ability to scale the business. And again, I'm not putting down the value of Stephanie, but I've got a hell of a lot higher value things to work on. And so do you, right? I mean, think about what one client is worth to you. Just one client. Imagine if you had an admin person, and I'm not saying you got to have a person that's full-time. You can engage with getting somebody that's part-time, and you guys know that it can be challenging out there to go and find tradespeople. We'll talk about that in another episode here on Trading the Truck. We're coming out with an awesome book to help you guys with that. But regardless, there's a way more people out there from an administrative perspective that can help you, that are easy to find, than there is finding skilled tradespeople, to be straight up with you. Also, you know, if you look at technology and you look at leveraging your calendar, there's so many things that they can do. So let's just talk about some of the key things, okay? I could have a list of like 2 or 3 pages, but let's talk about the key things. One of the key things is they keep you in check, right? So number one, an admin person keeps you in check. I know, Stephanie, you know, if you're going to be watching this video, it's a little bit embarrassing to say, but you know, it's almost like my mom, to a certain degree. Stephanie, you're not my mom. But it's like my mom. My mom used to keep us boys, my two brothers and myself, in check. We were like a bunch of wild animals, if not controlled. And so Stephanie does that for us, not just for me, for the whole team, right? She maintains, hey, Andrew, make sure you got to get this done. You got to get that done. So I can focus in on things that I got to get done. She is huge in making sure that the right level of communication. So number two, an admin person really helps in maintaining the communication, especially for tradespeople, between what's going on in the field and what needs to happen in the office. And they're two very different things, and they need to work together like a well-oiled machine. Okay, it's like I'm just, you know me guys, if you've been watching Trading Tips in the Truck, I'm Mr. Analogy guy. It's like a gearbox, right? I've never used this analogy, so hopefully it makes sense. It's like a gearbox, right? We got different gears, right? We got different roles in the company, and if they don't all work together, actually this is pretty good. If they don't all work together, you know what happens with the gearbox? If one of the gears doesn't go in the right direction of the other gears, yeah, we get a major problem. Everything starts to break down. Nothing works. But this cog, this gear, inside that gearbox, this admin person, really is like a master gear, right? It oversees that they're working the way they're supposed to be working. So that is a huge part of communication. So that's number two, okay? Number three is one of the things that they do is that they allow you, this is the big one, this is huge. The other two were big, but this is really big. They allow you to work on your genius, okay? They allow you to work on, sometimes you don't even know what your genius is, but they allow you to start working on, if you haven't already, working on the fact that you need to be acting as a CEO. You need to be working as a CEO and working towards a champion CEO. That means, this person allows you to free up time. Yes, free up time. You imagine freeing up 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, 30, 40, okay? Stephanie puts in easy 40 hours and her productivity is probably about 60. It would take me probably 80, 90 hours and I still wouldn't even come close to what Stephanie can do. Because that's what she's good at. That's not what I'm good at, okay? And so that allows me to work on things that I'm good at. And for you guys, think about, how many more quotes you could get done. How many more systems could you look at? How many more holes in profit, in your bucket of profit, in your business, could you have the time to look at? How much more free time would it free up for you to be able to, work on the business? And even more importantly, how much more free time would it free up for you to be able to spend more time with your family? And the cost of an admin person, from an hourly perspective, is fractional compared to your time, fractional compared to a project manager's time, to a skilled tradesperson's time. So guys, look, if you haven't got an admin person, you definitely got to get an admin person. Okay, I'm not saying full time, So here's a couple of steps to look at, and let's talk about if you've already got one. If you don't have one and you're assessing, like, can I afford one? What do I need? I want you to write down all these things from an office perspective that you don't do, or you do and you don't like, or it doesn't get done right, or you even do it and you do it right. Tally that up as a list, okay? Think about it. You're driving in the truck, pull over, you're grabbing a coffee, write down a couple of things. Don't overcomplicate this, guys. Just rough it, okay? You might want to look at a couple of ads online, Indeed, what have you, and you look at some of these job descriptions that people have of what an admin person could do specific to the trades. Now we've got that all laid out inside of Profit Contractors with our clients as far as what the role is of an admin person. Alex, you definitely want to take a look at that, dude. Under our policy manual, that 78-page document, just look under the role of admin and go to that page, and you've got the details of that. Okay, so that's one of the things we want to look at. So identify that, and so that's step number one. What are some of the tasks that you can offload? Number two, tally up how much time you spend on each of those tasks. And as well, identify some of the tasks you're not even doing when you start doing this study. And then look at that and go, well, if that's 10 hours, 15, 20, 30 hours, what could I do with that extra time? So grab a piece of paper, write down all the things that this person is going to do. Tally up all the hours, and then you want to flip it. Okay, you flip it so that you write down all the things that you could do. Try and put a dollar value to those things, okay? Then you can look at the two and go, oh my God, like that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna have like an aha moment. Like, man, even if this person does 10 hours a week and I'm able to do 10 hours and land one more Class A client in 10 hours, that would like 2x, 3x pay for this admin person for 10 hours. Okay, no brainer, okay? This should be a no-brainer if you do this exercise, okay? We'll talk about how to find one and all that later on, but first of all, you got to get clear on that you need one. For those of you that have an admin person, you always want to up the bar, okay? So one of the things you want to do is you want to take a look at what does your admin person do. And one of the best ways of identifying what your admin person does, now you got to approach this the right way, otherwise they might get offended by it, is a time study, okay? It's important for you to do a time study, but get them to do a time study of what do they do in their week. Now you might have a job description of what they do, but you want to see how best you can optimize them, okay? So get them to do a time study of like, what do they do in their week? Maybe it's going to be a 2-week exercise, but within 2 weeks, you should have a clear idea of what it is that they do within the week, how much time they spend on it, and get them to try to identify, this would be a really good exercise, to get them to identify what are the things that are reoccurring, what are the things that are defaulted. Now, what you might find, for those of you that have an admin, is that there's not enough things defaulted, that this person does a lot of tasks, but it's like all reactionary. Oh, I'll work on this and then I'll work on that. And then if I get a phone call, I'll work on this. They basically become a version of us if we don't put in place a good structure around what their role is, what they've got to do, and when they've got to do it. So once you do that, you're basically going to be doing it's an audit of their time and what they do. And there's gonna be things that jump off the page that go, man, why do you spend so much time on that? Or it's gonna be like, man, I noticed that not many of these things are actually structured. What are some of these things that we could actually default in the calendar and actually make it easier for you? And what can I do as the owner here or the rest of the team to give you the information in some of these tasks in a timely fashion so that it actually saves you time? So, ask them, get them involved in this process. Let them know that you're there doing this process to make the environment better and literally to make it easier for them. So at Profit Contractors, we default a lot of our meetings, okay? And the meetings are very purposeful. They have to be. They got a specific agenda. We don't try to go off on another tangent. If it's a marketing meeting, we're talking about marketing. We're not talking about hiring, right? And then we have our team meeting, then we have our team huddles, all the things that we teach our clients of the top 5 money-making meetings we apply, and man, it works, okay? So make sure you're optimizing your admin person. Sit down with them on a regular basis, maybe every 3 to 6 months, do this time audit, identify what it is they're working on. Maybe there are things that they can offload to other people, okay? Maybe it's time for them to have the ability to step it up and maybe take on some higher level roles and responsibilities because they've been with you for a while. And it'd be great to get their input, to ask them, like, what are some of the things that you think is missing? What are some of the things that you would like to work on? What are some of the things that, maybe there's some training, like for us, I've sent our team, each team member on different types of training, online training to better their role. And as well, if there's certain areas where they wanted to get more insight on, in our case, say customer care, then, we look for courses for that person to get educated on. They take the learnings and they bring it back and they apply it to the business. So guys, make sure you leverage your admin person, make sure you appreciate them. And make sure that if you don't have one, that you start looking at getting one. I don't care what size business you got. You need some form of an admin person. And that's it. That's all. Okay? Become the champion CEO that you're meant to be. And hey, Alex is on here. Dude, I'm doing this tradie trip in the truck because of you. Okay? Because you brought it up. And we've been getting some great support inside the champion CEO community. So Alex, dude, I'd love for you just to post in here while we're watching. I don't know if you're able to, maybe you're just driving. What are some of the insights you've gotten as far as, the importance of getting an admin person and how that person is going to help you move you up that, contractor's ladder of success. So, listen, guys, I know I'm going to start wrapping this up in about 2 minutes. Look at getting an admin person, leverage the admin person. Leverage yourself, leverage your time. Admin people are also amazing at putting systems in place. We are typically great. Look, I coach, you guys, contractors on systemizing the business. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I am really good at at creating systems. I'm not the best, and I'm not that interested in actually taking the ideas of what has been broken down in the system and putting it in place. That's what Stephanie does, okay? So that's what we should be doing as champion CEOs, right? We come up with the vision, we come up with the ideas, we help foster those ideas, and we can give it to people like admin people to put it actually into play, make sure it's working, and to test it, to track it, and to tweak it. And that's so valuable, right? Hey, Alex, how's it going, bro? Anyways, I don't know if there's a delay here, but Alex, I'd love you to post after this. What are your insights? What would your suggestions be now that you've gotten some insights on the value of an admin person? What do you see as your next steps? And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Ciao.